Greetings from the English Literature YouTube channel. It is a one-stop destination to soothe all your literary curiosities.
Welcome back to our literary journey on the English literature, where every video brings a new literary exploration.
So today in this video, we will read the poem Our Casuarina Tree, written by Toru Dutt.
So before delving deep into the poem, let's unveil the extraordinary journey that shaped Toru's creative spirit. So here we start. Toru Dutt, popularly known as Toru Dutt, was a 19th century Indo-Anglian poet. She was born on 4th March 1856 in Calcutta, British India, now known as Kolkata. She was born in a family drenched in literary richness. She was blessed with two cherished siblings, Aru and Abzu. Her father, Govindchandra Dutt, was a Bengali poet. When Toru was just 6 years old, in 1862, the family embraced Christianity. But what prompted this profound shift in their lives? So, this decision was likely influenced by a combination of social, personal, and cultural factors prevalent in 19th century colonial India. It was a time when people were shifting towards Christianity to gain social acceptance and opportunities in British controlled society. Tragedy struck when Toru lost her brother Abzu at the tender age of 14. Deeply aggrieved, the Dutts set sail to Europe seeking solace and the best of Western education for their gifted daughters. They sailed to France, where Toru and Aru attended a French school at Nice for a few months and studied French. The family spent a year in London, where Toru and Aru studied music and history. In the year 1871, Toru attended Cambridge, where she met Mary E. Martin, with whom she carried on a close friendship, mostly through letters, until her untimely death. In September 1873, the failing health of the two young daughters forced the Dutt to return to Calcutta, and the year 1874 marked another blow when Toru lost her constant companion, her sister Aru, marking a turning point in her life. Toru, alone but undeterred, turned her attention towards literary pursuits, and she produced an impressive collection of prose and poetry over the next 3 years. Unfortunately, she couldn't remain in this world so long, as if inscripted by destiny on August 30, 1877, like her beloved siblings, Toru's vibrant life met a tragic end, only at the mere age of 21, leaving behind a legacy of prolific creativity. So here we conclude our discussion on Toru's brief but productive and impactful life. Now let's turn our attention towards the realm of her poetry,
Our Casuarina Tree. Like a huge python, winding round and round, the rugged trunk, indented deep with scars, up to its very summit near the stars, a creeper climbs, in whose embraces bound, no other tree could live, but gallantly the giant wears the scarf, and flowers are hung in the crimson clusters all the bough among, whereon all the day are gathered bird and bee, and oft at nights the garden overflows with one sweet song that seems to have no close, sung darkling from our tree while men repose. So, in the first stanza, Toru Dutt remembers a tree which was wrapped by creepers, giving it the appearance of a huge python wrapping around it. The creepers left deep scars on the tree's trunk up to the top of the tree, reaching towards the sky where the stars are. The creeper's embrace was so intense that no other tree could survive under its wet or tight grip. But this huge tree, like a giant, wears them as a scarf. Clusters of crimson colored flowers hang from its branches. As a result, birds and bees surrounded the tree throughout the day, and at night the surroundings of the tree are filled with sweet, never ending song, perhaps from the sounds of insects or birds. The sweet song is sung from the darkness of the tree while people sleep. When first my casement is wide open thrown, at dawn my eyes delighted on it rest. Sometimes and most in winter on its crest, a grey baboon sits statue like alone, watching the sunrise, while on lower boughs his puny offspring leap about and play, and far and near kokilas hail the day, and to their pastures wend our sleepy cows, and in the shadow on the broad tank cast, by that hoar tree so beautiful and vast, the water lily the spring like snow in mist. In this stanza, the poet describes the scene at dawn when her windows are first opened. Her eyes are drawn to the tree. Sometimes, especially during winter, a grey baboon sits alone on the top of the tree, resembling a statue, and watches the sunrise silently. Meanwhile, the baboon's babies play on the lower branches. Birds, possibly cuckoos known as kokilas, sing to welcome the day from nearby and far away. The poet observes the cows still drowsy from sleep as they move towards their grazing pastures. In the shadow cast by the tree, which falls on a large water tank nearby, there is a beautiful and majestic sight. Water lilies grow under the shadow of the ancient tree, resembling gathered snow. But not because of its magnificence. Dear is the Casuarina to my soul. Beneath it we have played, though years may roll. O sweet companions, loved with love intense, for your sakes shall the tree be ever dear. Blent with your images, it shall arise in memory till the hot tears blind mine eyes. What is that dirge like murmur that I hear, like the sea breaking on a single beach? It is the tree's lament, an airy speech, that haply to the unknown land may reach. In this stanza, Toru Dutt continues and says that I am fond of the Casuarina tree not because of its grandeur or beauty. Casuarina tree is beloved to my soul because of the cherished memories of playing under its shade. In the fourth line, the poet addresses their companions or siblings, expressing intense love and affection for them. According to her, the tree will always be dear to her soul because of the memories attached to it. The memories of her siblings intertwined with the image of the tree and will remain with her until she overwhelms with emotion, causing tears to flow. The poet wonders about the mournful sound she hears. The sound resembles the crashing of waves on a beach made of small stones. The poet identifies the source of the sound as the lamentation of the tree, describing it as eerie or haunting. She imagines the sound as a message from the tree reaching out to some faraway place. Unknown. yet well known to the eye of faith. Ah, I have heard that wail far, far away, in distant lands by many a sheltered bay. When slumbered in his cave the water wraith, and the waves gently kissed the classic soul of France and Italy beneath the moon. When earth lay tranced in a dreamless swoon, and every time the music rose, before my inner vision rose a form sublime. Thy form, O thee, as in my happy prime I saw thee in my own loved native clime. So that land is not known by the world at large, but is familiar to those who have faith. Poet is saying that I heard that lament sound from a distant place, in far off lands, often near protected or sheltered coastal areas. She has heard this lament when the waves gently touched the shores of France and Italy, and beneath the moon when the earth was in dreamless sleep. And whenever Toru hears this music, it arouses memories of the Casuarina tree as she saw it in her youth in her homeland. Therefore, I fain would consecrate a lay unto thy honor, tree, beloved of those who now in blessed sleep for ire repose. Dearer than life to me, alas, were they. Mayst thou be numbered when my days are done, with deathless trees like those in Borrowdale, under whose awful branches lingered pale fear, trembling hope, and death the skeleton, and time the shadow, and though weak the verse, that would thy beauty fain, oh fain rehearse. May love defend thee from oblivion's curse. In this stanza, Toru Dutt expresses her strong desire to dedicate a song or poem in the honor of the Casuarina tree. This tree was loved by her late companions who are now peacefully resting in eternal sleep. She loved them the most. Poetess expresses a wish that the tree will be remembered and valued even after her own life, and counted among deathless trees such as those in Borrowdale. Wordsworth wrote these lines for their awful branches: fear, trembling hope, and death the skeleton, and the time the shadow. The poet says that her poetry might have weaker verse as compared to the great poets like Wordsworth's. Yet she wishes that the power of her love will defend the Casuarina tree from oblivion curse or from being forgotten forever. So here we have completed the line-wise explanation of the poem. Now it's time to move towards the analysis part. So this poem, Our Casuarina Tree, was written by Toru Dutt when she was in abroad. The poem consists of 55 lines grouped into 5 stanzas having 11 lines. Each stanza is composed of an octave consisting of 2 quatrains closing with a rhyming tercet. Rhyming scheme of the poem is A B B A C D D C E E E F G G F H I H J J J K L L K M N N M O O O P Q Q P R S S R T T T U V V U W X X W Y Y Y. The poem is autobiographical in nature. We can also consider this poem as an ode, as the tree is glorified in it. Here in the first stanza, we are transported to the poet's childhood home, where the majestic Casuarina tree has existed. We can see the rich description of the tree and its surrounding. Survival of the tree despite the embrace of the python-like creepers shows the strength and endurance. The marks on the tree's trunk tell the tale of its survival, and might be the marks left with time, like the impact of memories on the poet. The bright red cluster of flowers on the tree branches creates a vibrant and colorful image, and the presence of birds and bees with sweet songs at night attributes to the atmosphere of the garden, making us feel closer to the nature. In the second stanza, poet describes the beautiful morning scenery of the trees surrounding from her window. The stanza begins with the poet looking out of a window in the morning. The sun is rising, and the grey baboon is sitting still like a statue. Here, the stillness of the baboon is compared with lifeless objects. The sight of the baboon and its offsprings, the hailing kokilas and the sleepy cows, give the Indian context to the poem. By using the word ho for the tree, poet highlights the tree's wisdom, which comes with decades of experience. So, the first and second stanzas of the poem show the physical charm of the tree and its surrounding. In the third part of the poem, the mood changes from describing the tree to thinking deeply about it. The poet starts feeling nostalgic and sad. Toru Dutt says that the tree is dear to her because it brings back memories of her childhood with her siblings under its shade. She feels a connection with the tree as if they both share the same sadness and longing. She hears a strange sound coming from the tree, and she thinks it's like a sad song for her siblings who have passed away. She hopes this song reaches to the unknown land where they now reside, thus suggesting a connection to something beyond this mortal world. In the fourth stanza, Toru Dutt expresses a spiritual connection to the tree, even when she is far away in places like France and Italy. Her faith enables her to sense her siblings' presence even though they are not physically present. The mention of distant lands and romantic settings like sheltered bays and classic shores paints beautiful picture in our mind. She recalls the tree from happier times in her childhood home. The poet describes scenes like calm water, moonlit nights, which make us feel a sense of eternity in nature. This part of the poem shows how important the tree is to the poet. Its image is so powerful that it goes beyond just being a tree. In the final stanza, the poet expresses her longing to immortalize the Casuarina tree, as the tree is associated with the cherished memories of her beloved siblings. She wishes to dedicate a lyric in its honor. She desires the Casuarina tree to stand among the deathless trees of Borodale. The yew trees of Borodale were made immortal by William Wordsworth, a great romantic poet. Similarly, she desires to protect the tree from oblivion curse, ensuring it is never forgotten. Thus, she dedicates this poem as a tribute to immortalize the tree and its enduring significance. We have completed the analysis part. Now, let's move towards the themes embedded in this beautiful poem. So, the major themes of the poem Our Casuarina Tree are nature and beauty, memory and nostalgia, longing and loss, transience of life, spirituality and immortality. Let's discuss the major literary devices used in the poem. So the first is simile, like a huge python winding round and round. In this line, the simile compares the creeping vines tightly winding around the tree to a huge python. This comparison emphasizes the twisting and coiling nature of the vines, evoking the image of a large snake winding around its prey. A grey baboon sits statue like alone. Here, stillness of the baboon is compared with lifeless object. The water lilies spring like snow in March. This line uses a simile to compare the springing of water lilies to the massing of snow, with deathless trees like those in Borodale. Here, a simile is used to compare the trees to those in Borodale, emphasizing their immortal nature. This comparison suggests that the speaker wishes the Casuarina tree to be similarly remembered and revered. Metaphor: the giant wears the scarf and flowers are hung. Here, tree is referred as a giant, is metaphorically compared to a person wearing a scarf. Fear, trembling hope, and death the skeleton, and time the shadow, and though weak the verse. Here, hope is metaphorically described as trembling, implying that hope is uncertain or filled with anxiety. This metaphorical description suggests that hope can be shaken or unsteady, reflecting the emotional complexity often associated with feelings of hope. Death is metaphorically described and compared to the skeleton, emphasizing its stark and bare nature, devoid of flesh and life. Time is compared to shadow. This comparison suggests that time is intangible yet pervasive, just like a shadow that follows and affects everything. Rhetorical question: what is that does like murmur that I hear, like the sea breaking on a single beach? This portion of the paragraph contains a rhetorical question. The speaker is not seeking a direct answer, but rather using the question to express wonder or contemplation about the nature of sound she hears. Transferred epithet: and of that nights the garden overflows. In this line, the adjective overflow is used to describe the garden, but it is actually the emotions or sensations of the poet in the garden that are overflowing, not the garden itself. This transferred epithet adds depth and vividness to the description by attributing human emotions to an inanimate object. Personification: may love defend thee from oblivion curse. In this line, the abstract concept of love is personified as if it has the ability to actively defend the subject Casuarina Tree from oblivion curse. Love, which is an emotion, is given the human-like ability to protect or defend, which is not something it can do literally. The giant wears the scarf. Personification is used to describe the tree as wearing a scarf, attributing human-like qualities to the tree. It is the tree's lament, an airy speech. The tree is personified as if it is capable of lamenting. Trees, being living organisms, not possess the ability to speak or express emotions like human beings. However, by personifying the tree's lament as an airy speech, the poet assigns human-like characteristics to the tree's expression of sorrow. Alliteration: the rugged trunk indented deep with scars. Here we can see the repetition of the sound R. A creeper climbs, in whose embrace is bound. Here we can see the repetition of K sound. In the crimson clusters all the bough among. Here we have repetition of K sound. With one sweet song that seems to have no close. Here we have repetition of the sound S. The water lilies spring like snow and mist. Repetition of the sound S. O sweet companions, loved with love and dance. Here we can see the repetition of the sound L. Assonance: for your sake shall the tree be ever dear. Here we can see the repetition of the vowel sound E. Ever dear. Imagery: the poet has given rich imagery details describing the tree and its surrounding. The scars on the tree trunk tell the tale of its survival and might be the marks left with time, like the impact of memories on the poet. Repetition, like a huge python winding round and round. Here, repetition is used in the line to emphasize the tight winding of creepers around the tree. In the below lines, we can see the repeated use of the word deer for Casuarina Tree, which signifies the importance of tree in Toru's life. Parallelism. These lines establish a balanced structure and rhyme. It also emphasizes the interconnectedness of the described scenes, making the setting feel whole and complete. Hyperbole. Like a huge python winding round and round, the rugged trunk indented deep with scars. Up to its very summit near the stars, a creeper climbs, in whose embrace is bound. Here the height of the tree is exaggerated that it grew so tall that it almost reached the stars. The summary of the poem. Our Casuarina Tree by Toru Dutt is a nostalgic and introspective poem. It reflects the emotional connection between the speaker and the Casuarina tree. The tree is described as a majestic adorned with flowers. It serves as a habitat for various creatures. The poem delves into the memories associated with the tree, from watching the sunrise to playing beneath its branches. The speaker expresses deep affection for the tree and its significance in her life, symbolizing cherished memories and beloved companionship. The poem also explores themes of time, mortality, and the enduring power of love and memory. Ultimately, Toru Dutt seeks to honor the tree through the poetic tribute, hoping to preserve its memory and significance for eternity. So we have completed the poem. Now let's look into the questions asked in the previous year examination. Don't forget to show your support by liking, subscribing and sharing it with your friends. Thank you for being a part of this community, the English literature. Until the next time, happy reading, learning and growing.